everyone, welcome back to the first episode of Caribbean Angles, where we discuss Caribbean family life issues each and every Thursday. I'm your host, Tiffany Martin. I just want to welcome you, our viewers online, and my co-host, Miss Cassandra Bota, and to my two lovely guests, Immigration Officer, Miss Devonay Davidson, and Recording Officer, Miss Susan Ferguson. Thank you for joining us on this episode. How are you all doing tonight?
I am doing fine, thank you.
I'm okay, thank you so much. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, what? I hope that y'all are doing good. So thank you for coming, and I know we have an interesting and educating night tonight. So in this week's episode, we will discuss the topic migration and death are adversely affecting population in the Caribbean. Just so our viewers can understand the topic a bit better, Ms. Bolton will go ahead and give us the meaning of some key terms.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So we will look at the terms migration, death, mortality, and population. So migration is the process of moving to a new country or region with the intention of staying and living there. So you have voluntary migration, forced migration, permanent migration, and temporary migration. Voluntary migration is when someone chooses to leave their home and undertake for different opportunities like better economic opportunity or because of a housing situation. Forced migration is like when persons are deported, who have been expelled by the government. And then you have permanent migration when you will definitely leave your permanent address that you were at and migrate to live in another country with your family, or even by yourself with no intention of returning. And sometimes it's temporary. You go and you work because you are thinking that there's a better life, and because of the exchange rate, you'll go and you make a better living, and you'll come back and then purchase your home or a car, start a business or something like that.
Yeah.
And as I said before, you have different reasons for migration. So you have because of lack of services, the high crime rate, crop failure, drought, flooding, poverty, and sometimes war will make you want to leave and take another place of residence. Okay, so death now is the action of dying, the end of life. It's the irreversible cessation of all vital functions, especially as indicated by a permanent stoppage of the heart, respiration, and brain activity. Mortality is the death rate of a population. There are two types of mortality: absolute mortality and realized mortality. Absolute mortality is the number of deaths under ideal conditions, and realized mortality is the number of deaths when environmental pressures come into play. Population is where all inhabitants are, the amount of persons that are in a particular place. So that tells you the number of persons, so that is the population of that country or that area.
All right. So thank you for highlighting and explaining those key terms to us. I'm sure our viewers have a better understanding of what we'll be discussing in tonight's show. So just before we hear from our guests, let's hear what the members of the public had to say about migration and death and how it's affecting the Caribbean.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I am doing good.
Lovely. Okay, I'm from the Caribbean Angle Talk Show,
And I am here on the street asking a question.
Okay.
Are you ready for my question?
Bring it on.
Lovely. Okay. What are your thoughts on migration and debt adversely affecting Caribbean population?
Okay, so for years the Caribbean has been plagued with crime and violence, and I mean, little or nothing has been done to curb or try to stem it to a degree that will go down to zero. So it seems like it is inevitable for crime to go down to zero. And we know that crime plays a part in such that it creates debt among the populace. And through that, you have a lot of migrations. People fear for their lives, so they leave the region. Another thing, migration, which falls same under debt. Persons who are educated, they just cannot find their way out, to get the jobs that they seek. So they leave the region and go to other countries like America, Canada, England, first world developed countries, to seek better opportunities. And so that kind of leave a stain on the region. It also helps to decline the population in the region because people are leaving, right? And people are dying just the same. So I think debt and migration really does play a hard ball on the Caribbean region because we are already small. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
See you next time.
See you too.
Yes, I'm in full agreement with the topic that migration and debt adversely affect the Caribbean population. If you look at migration has the greatest impact, in my opinion, as the most skilled laborers or trade laborers and academics migrate to other countries that we call first world and second world countries for employment and greater access to health along with a better salary. As it relates to debt, the debt has a direct link with crime. Most of the deaths recorded in Jamaica, for example, is murderous crimes. So numerous persons are dying faster than in a peaceful and harmonious environment. So yes, death and migration directly impact our population within the Caribbean and Jamaica.
Interesting views from the people. We will take a break and be right back after this advertisement.
5, 6, 7, and left. Food, the taste that moves you. Sharing the moment, share it with everyone.
Graceful's. Anytime me taste any Grace products, me and my friend them a fi bust dance moves. I fi run to the pot when me granny a boil soup. Grace food products, in that make it go down smooth. The taste that moves you, feel the vibes anytime when the day Grace foods from the end. Yeah, the taste that moves you, from the spices move you. Everybody shout out Grace.
When the food sweet, we dance. When the vibe nice, we love. The taste that moves you, Grace bringing the food you love. When the food sweet, we dance. When the vibe nice, we love. The taste that proves you, Grace bringing the food you love.
Nothing moves your vibe, your mood, or your appetite like the taste of Grace.
Welcome back as we continue to discuss the discussion about migration and debt in the Caribbean. So, Miss Davidson, I'm glad that you're here today. So, can you tell us how does migration affect population in the Caribbean?
All right, so for migration, how it affects the population in the Caribbean, one of it is by brain drain versus remittancy. So brain drain is basically telling saying that you do your study in your Caribbean country, but yet still you will leave your Caribbean country and go to another country where you will offer the knowledge that you gain in your country to another country. While remittances now is when you send your money to your relative in your Caribbean, not just money, but also, you said barrel, you said, whatever it is, just to make sure that you send on a little to the country. But it will be better if you were working in your country, so everything will remain in your country than you're splitting it with another country and your country.
Yeah, and just as you talk
Also,
about brain drain, just a minute. Most of the profession that this happen with is like the nurses, social workers, the doctors, the teachers also, they always, after getting their degree, there's not a lot of job opportunities in Jamaica, so they'll fly go overseas and, get scholarship also to finish to do their masters.
right. So I was just about
you
to
know,
say that as well.
yeah, our country not really offering those opportunities, so they go away and work over there.
And it's not really that the country is not offering the opportunity, it's that they say more, they can work more money. So they are going for a better life then. They're looking for a better life, not for just them, but their family as well. So Jamaica will experience a strong brain drain because like 65% of public sector migrate to different countries just to get a better life. So when our Caribbean people migrate now, so they know that the Jamaicans start bringing in Cubans. So that's where the Cubans come now to fill the space that the
That's why we see a
Jamaicans
lot
get.
of Cuban doctors at the hospitals and so.
Right, and nurses, right. So cause of migration, right? So there are two causes why persons migrate. So you have push factors and pull factors. So a push factor is things that you can't escape. So you want to move away from that. So the war and all of that. So you have to run. Pull factor now, you're leaving for opportunities. So I will give you some example of push factors and pull factors. So push factors: job, war, famine, natural disaster. So those stuff will make you want to go and leave your country. While pull factor, better health care, job opportunity, education, and safety.
Yeah, and one of the
Also,
most recent push factor example is with the war in Ukraine. As I stated about war a while ago, it comes to mind. A lot of their citizens have to leave. Even Jamaicans over there have to come back, that migrated had to come back to Jamaica.
That went over there to study,
yeah,
to come back. And Ukraine, they're resident, but yet still they have to move away from their country, looking for safety. From it's not that they want to leave, but because of the war, they have to find different places to reside in. Right. So another statistic is that from the United Nations Department of Economic Social Affairs, as of 2020, there were a total of 9.8 million migrants from Caribbean living outside of their country for temporary or origins. So that happened in August 2021. So you see how much persons keep migrating from their country just for a better lifestyle. Also, I will give you some examples of, not examples, I will give you, it's example of disadvantage and advantage why persons leave. So again, money sent, so advantage, money sent from home, sent to home. So we talked about that earlier in it. So they will send money to help out with their grandma, children's school fee and whatever it is. Pressure of job resources, many return with skills. So a skills that they might go overseas and learn, they will come back. So they will have an extra skill, not just what they leave with, but they will come back with extra skill. Disadvantages is that gender, so you will find that Muslim males, female will leave as well, but you will find out that Muslim males will go out trying to make a better life for their family. Come here, mommy. You realize that more males will go out trying to get a better life. Even the nurses, when they migrate, still they realize that they even come and they will take their old family after a while. The whole family will migrate. Brain drain, as I explained earlier, you get a skill in the Caribbean and you bring it to another country. So that's just it for migration. So person migrate just for different reasons, not just because of education, but they also migrate because they want better life. And it works out for most persons, so they continue the process and sharing it with others. So person who don't know about it, they will get we call it educated on it, and they will leave their country for a better lifestyle. Thank you.
So, we are truly learning a lot in tonight's discussion. We'll thank you for sharing a lot of information about migration, brain drain, remittances, and so on. We take a break and be right back with Miss Ferguson as she talks to us about death in the Caribbean.
COVID-19, I know the only virus I spread, so please keep this in your head. HIV, STIs are roam round, yeah, people still a get infected. On top of that, you know have to deal with no pregnancy, no we go unwanted. So stock up with your condoms and ensure them not done. Every time you're ready for your fun, just stand on your yard with your condom. Stay inside, stay covered when you're locked down. Stand on your yard with your condom. Stay COVID free and STI free when it's all done.
A message from the National Family Planning Board.
Welcome back, guys, to Caribbean Angles. Miss Ferguson, as our records officer, based on my knowledge, that record has a lot of information. It talks about the name of the person, the cause of death, the year or the date that they died. So based on that, you have a lot of insight about the number of persons that die each year in the country. So how does the death rates affect population in the Caribbean?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me. Okay, as relates to death in the Caribbean, and also my experience working with the RGD and the fact that we provide our customers with, and the Jamaican people with death, birth, and marriages certificates. I must say, for example, on a regular day that applications might come to me at my desk. For example, if there is 50 applications, out of the 50 applications, probably 25 is debt, and the others is shared among birth and marriages. So when I do analyze and look into the situation, the debt toll in the Caribbean, Jamaica in specific, is really high. You have a high debt rate, and also in terms of the violent death across the country, where a lot of persons are killed violently, crashes, and all of those stuff. I mean, it increases the death rate. It also has a negative impact on our country and economy, because most of those persons who are being killed are business owners, right? For example, the people who had died down by the country, the Chinese who they had killed. I mean, there are a lot of persons who will be out of a job because of that situation. So the negative impact that it really has, or how does it really affect the Caribbean on a whole, our country, is that loss of jobs for persons. I mean, family may lose even their sole breadwinner, the person who really help to take care of the family and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You know,
and it also affect their family members' mental health also. So the depression
right.
with that also when somebody dies. So and the trauma from it,
Yes.
traumatic experience.
For that, Miss Morrison. Yes, so all of those things, combined really affect the debt toll in the Caribbean and even narrow down to Jamaica in particular. So the Caribbean region encompasses more than 25 countries and territories that vary in size, geographic, resources, and surveillance system. In this region, NCDs carry the highest health-related burdens and are the most common causes of death. Now, NCDs is known as non-communicable diseases, aging of the population, successes in primary health care, in the treatment of infectious and other diseases, and economic development have led to an NCD epidemiological transition within the Caribbean region. The proportion of the population of age group 15 years or younger is declining, while younger and middle-aged adult group 25 to 44 years and 45 to 64 years are increasing, except for the Asian country. The demographic indicators of the Caribbean countries are consistent with the health outcome that are expected in middle income countries. Right? So the Caribbean region faces the highest burden from non-communicable diseases for developing nations in the Americas, and chronic non-communicable diseases are the leading cause of death. So non-communicable diseases is really the leading cause of the death toll in the Caribbean. And it is linked to more than 70% of deaths in the region, which is similar to the current global average, right? In the increase in the mortality burden for the non-communicable disease in the Caribbean region can be due to the rise in factors resulting in an increased prevalence or lack of improvement in quality of care and the case fatality rate. So with this being said, I mean, lack of care, if that causes non-communicable, for example, diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, if persons are not taking care of themselves, eat properly, be on a specific diet, exercise, do the necessary things to keep your body fit, right, and healthy, eat up your fruits, your vegetables and stuff like that. I mean, self-care is one of the best thing that a person could, or an individual could ever done to him or herself in order to stay healthy and stay alive. However, if unaddressed, the prevalence of chronic disease will continue to have a negative impact on the social and economic well-being of the Caribbean, like I had stated before. So basically, we ought to just take care of ourselves and ensure that the necessary steps in doing so are taken. And with that being said, it will lower the risk of us having to have this high death toll rate, apart from the violent deaths and the careless driving, reckless driving on the road that is causing fatality to our citizens. So my recommendation is that we all do stop in the morning, do if it's even 30 minutes of exercise before taking a shower, heading off to work. Exercise for at least 30 minutes take a 10 minutes break and, just refresh your mind and get back into the act of really, yourself, recuperate, finding time to do stuff you enjoy, to keep your body alive and well. Eat fruits, eat vegetable, drink a lot of water. And this
And not just water, room temperature water, because you have person who don't want to drink room temperature water. They just think that drinking cold water is the best way. So
right, thanks for that. So that's my part and bit of advice for you guys.
Thank you so much, Miss Ferguson. You have really educated us tonight. Thank you for those tips as well for us to stay healthy and, highlighting and talking to us about the debt and how it's affecting the population in the Caribbean. To my guests, Miss Davidson, Miss Ferguson, my co-host, Miss Bolton, thank you all for coming. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for enlightening us. Thank you for educating us. I'm sure our viewers have learned something about debt and migration tonight, because I sure have. Thank you for being on Caribbean Angles. We'll see you all next week, Thursday, as we continue to discuss interesting topics and Caribbean Angles. Have a good night.
bye.